Hello, year 4. Today's text is Erik the Viking. Erik the Viking. Now, before we start our text, what do we usually do before answering or reading? What do? We skim the text. As you can see, today's text is a different type of text. Earlier, in the previous text, we learned about non-fictional texts, informational texts, like reports, explanation texts, and all these kinds of texts, right? Today, we'll be learning something different. We'll be learning about fictional and narrative texts. What do you mean by this, Miss Nahla? It's narrative because it tells you a story, right? So, before we start, I need you to skim the text. Now, how do we skim the text, Miss Nahla? We'll use the same techniques we used earlier, just a bit different. So, what are we going to do here, Miss Nahla? First, let's see what genre is this text. Is it fictional or non-fictional? Second, I need you to think, does it tell you information? Does it tell you facts? Or does it tell you a story? Does it narrate a story? Okay, is it a narrative text? Then I need you to skim the text for the settings. What are the settings? When and where it happened. When and where it happened. Third, I need you to skim the text for the characters. How many characters are there? Who are the main characters? Let's find out more about the characters. Then, fourth, I need you to search for any unfamiliar words. So, I need you to do this in 5 minutes. So we won't read the whole text and scan it bit by bit. No, we will just skim it. How will we skim it? We'll have a quick look on the text to search for the following. What genre it is? Is it fictional or non-fictional? Is it a narrative? Does it narrate a story? Right? Then you'll start skimming the text for the settings. When and where did it happen? Third, I need you to skim the text for the characters. How many characters are there and who are the main characters? Fourth, I need you to search for the unfamiliar words. This is just the completion of the text, so you can pause here to complete your skimming. Now, here are some unfamiliar words you may have found while skimming your text. Number 1, a tale. A fictional or a true narrative or a story. So what is a tale? A fictional story or a true narrative. Number 2, warrior. A warrior is a brave soldier or a fighter. Number 3, carved. Carved means cut or engraved to produce an object, a design or inscription or a statue. So carved means cut or engraved, something already cut or engraved to produce something that has a shape, okay? Number 4, sought. Sought, it means found. It means found. Next is distant. Distant means far. Far, something far. Next is helm. Helm is a wheel, the wheel for steering a ship. It is the wheel for steering a ship. Heaving. Heaving means lifting or carrying, and usually it is said about something heavy, something really heavy. They were heaving the couch. It means they were lifting or carrying the couch, heaving. Blotted out. Blotted out. It means wiped, or erased, or made something disappear. Wrecked. Very badly damaged. When I'm talking about something, when I say that it is wrecked, it means that it is very badly damaged. Now that you have skimmed the text and learned all the unfamiliar words, let's start scanning our text. Now, before we start reading, I need you to tell me what type of text is this? Yes, it is a narrative. Why is it a narrative text? Because it narrates a story. It is a fictional narrative text because it narrates a story, right? So, who are the main characters here? Just by skimming like this, who did you find? Who did you meet? Yes, we met Erik, and we met his wife, and we met his crew, the crew that were on the ship. What are the settings of the story? That's easy, Miss Nahla. I know, because it says here, just by looking and skimming, here at the beginning of the story, it tells me that Erik was talking to his wives, so they must be at their home. Then, as you can see, it shows that he went somewhere. Yes, he went with his crew to the sea. So our second setting is the sea. So now we know that this is a narrative fictional, and this happens in the sea and in Erik's home. This is the settings, and that Erik and his wife and the crew are the main characters. So let's start reading our text for today. This is the beginning of a tale of a Viking warrior who lived hundreds and hundreds of years ago. His name was Erik. His ship was called Golden Dragon, and its figurehead was a fierce monster carved out of wood and covered in golden leaves. Now, let's remember Erik the Viking. Where did we hear this word before? Who remembers our previous comprehension about the Vikings? Yes, those people who lived in the north. Yes, so Erik is one of the Vikings, one of them. He was a very famous Viking warrior, right? He lived hundreds and hundreds of years ago, so it happens in the past, right? Here it tells us that his ship was called the Golden Dragon, and its head was a fierce monster carved. What does carved mean? Who can tell me? Who remembers? Cut and shaped out of wood and covered in golden leaf. One day, Erik said to his wife, "I must find the land where the sun goes at night." But his wife replied, "No one has ever been to that far country, and of those who have tried, few have ever returned." Now, the beginning of the story tells us that Erik is telling his wife that he must find the land where the sun goes at night. What do you mean by this, Miss Nahla? The sun always goes at night, right? No, in some countries, it's always day. The sun never goes at night. So, Erik decided to find the land where the sun goes at night. But seems like his wife didn't really like this, right? She told him, "How did you know that she didn't like this?" Because she told him no one has ever been to that far country, right? And those who have tried, few have ever returned. So it seems like a very dangerous adventure. But I'm sure that Erik the Viking, who is known to be a very brave Viking, will succeed in his mission. Let's complete. "You are right," said Erik, "but until I have sought that distant land, I shall never sleep in my bed again." Now, as you can see here, we have two words that were in the previous slide, the unfamiliar words. The first word is sought, which means found. Until I have found that distant, far land. Distant means far land. I shall never sleep in my bed again. So he called his son, who was 15 years old, and told him he must guard their home by day and night. Then he took his sword, which was called the Blue Blade. Now, why did he name his sword, Miss Nahla? In the past, in the very old past, the very famous and the most fierce of fighters had names for their swords. So, this is what Erik did. He called his sword the Blue Blade, stepped on board Golden Dragon, and sailed off towards the setting sun. That night they sailed on far from land, and Erik stood at the helm of Golden Dragon. What does helm mean? The wheel that steers the ship, the steering wheel. Gazing into the darkness, Erik's men whispered to each other that they were seeking the land where the sun goes at night, and that no one had ever found it and lived to tell the tale. What do you mean by lived to tell the tale? It means that no one lived after coming back, to tell the tale to everyone. What is a tale? A story, a fictional story. The next morning they found themselves alone on the ocean with great waves heaving the ship up and down. So what is heaving? Who remembers what is heaving? It means lifting. So the waves were heaving the ship up and down. Erik looked up into the sky and smelled the wind. We shan't make it. Shan't. What is shan't, Miss Nahla? It means we shall not. So shan't is the contraction of shall not. We shall not make it. We shan't make it, whispered Erik's men, one to the other, as the storm clouds blotted out the sun. So what is blotted out? Who remembers what is blotted out? Wiped out the sun or covered the sun. Will be wrecked at sea. Will be wrecked at sea. As you can see, wrecked is also one of the unfamiliar words we talked about earlier. Wrecked means badly damaged. Their ship will be badly damaged or wrecked at the sea. They murmured as the first drops of rain fell on the deck. There's land, called Erik. Take down the sails. We'll have to row for it. Row. They leant on their oars as the rain began to pour down on them, and the speck of land on the horizon got bigger. Speck of land. What is speck of land? As if something very tiny because it's very far away or it's distant. And the speck of land on the horizon got bigger as the skies got darker and the sea grew rougher.